Story time about how I was married to a serial killer. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. I'm going to do this over several parts, but first, let's just talk about how we met. Okay, so I was friends with this girl in the 6th grade, and we wound up living 3 doors down from each other. So we got to be really close, and I'd go over to her house after school a lot. And her brother was in the Navy, and so he wasn't around that much, and he was a lot older than I was, but he was in the Navy, and he would come home on leave. And that's how I got to know him, and I kind of had a crush on him. He was her older brother and everything. When I was about 16, he started flirting with me and decided to ask me out. And honestly, that probably sounds like a really red flag, but my family, their biggest red flag was just the fact that he was a lot older than me. But they felt kind of comfortable because they already knew the family and they could see how much we liked each other, so they supported it. Things moved really quickly, and before I knew it, he asked me to marry him. And honestly, that sounds crazy, except that my life was like really chaotic at the time. So when he asked me to marry him, I just jumped on it because it was like really the best thing I had going for me. So to answer a few of your guys' questions from my last video, yes, this is a true story about my life. And you guys definitely did your research. My ex-husband was Richard Evonitz. I have written a book, and I'm looking for a publisher and agent. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep answering your questions, so stay tuned for part 2.